Hello, Formula One fans. So, this is me going into the deep end of the goofy cartoon proportion models. I can't really say they're scale models because they're cartooned. But anyways, I found this on AliExpress and I just saw the images of it, and it's just a crazy looking F1 car because it's a tuned version of one. And so we're going to take a look at this guy. I haven't followed F1 because of this thing called COVID. You may have heard about it. And I forgot all about F1. But I don't think they really televised it on my cable programming anyway. So let's see here. It says here Mini Racing. That must be the brand, I'm assuming, making this thing. No sort of licensing or anything like that. So I don't expect this brand to exist for a long time. Alright, so nothing else, no decals or anything like that. So this case covers, well, not bad. It doesn't just fall out. So let me open this. Oh, well, this tape. Okay, so let me get my little pick so I can get this tape off here. While I'm doing this, let's see. This is supposed to be powered by a... Well, first, let me explain. It's called an RB16. You can see there. Oh, now it is a very loose cover, actually. Okay. Alright, so this plate here will explain that this is a Redbull Racing RB16 driven by Max Verstappen. Never heard of him. There's 200 of these pieces, I guess. So pretty limited, and probably henceforth why it was quite expensive. Let's see. So sadly, I just assumed, this is from the 2016 racing gear, but no, it's not. Red Bull doesn't name him off the year like Ferrari has done in the past. This apparently was developed to compete in the 2020 F1 season, and then because of COVID, they were allowed to compete in the 2021 season as well. But I guess they updated the car a little bit for that season. I'm going to have to assume this model is of the 2020 car, but I don't know for sure. All I did is I pulled up images of the RB16 car. I don't know what year they are, but we're going to have to go with that. Alright, so this is supposed to be powered by a Honda, and I was a little confused because it does say Honda there, but it also says Aston Martin here. I'm sure it's happened in the past, but I've just never seen two car sponsors on one car. It's interesting that Aston Martin would pay for sponsorship, when it clearly says Honda right there as well. I can understand the Honda being there, being the motor, but yeah, that's interesting that Aston is paying for that space. Okay, well, let's see. So this is supposed to be powered by 1.6 liter turbocharged V6. And Wikipedia doesn't tell me the horsepower, but I just looked up horsepower for a 2020 F1, and it's supposed to be around 1,000 horsepower. I think most of the engines are roughly the same in their power output. And then it's supposed to have a kinetic energy recovery system, KERS, and also a thermal energy recovery system, probably in the exhaust. So it's a bit of a hybrid. So, okay. Alright, that's what I learned about the car. Max Verstappen came in third place for the 2020 driving championship. Lewis Hamilton apparently destroyed everyone. He came in first. And then Red Bull Racing Honda came in, let's see, I think second place for the Manufacturers Championship in 2020. I have seen photos where the Pirellis have white striping instead of this yellow here. So that's probably accurate, just to a different type of race or something. Okay, and then obviously the wheels are a different color as well. At least on that photo they're silver, but it looks like they're black on this photo as well. So, in F1 they're swapping out wheels and tires for conditions, all the different conditions all the time. So I'm not going to pay too much attention to the colors of the wheels or the tires here. It's just nice to see the graphic there. So looking at this, that is a crazy foreshortening. This car is so long and low in real life, but now it just looks, like a cartoon. Let's see about this rear view here. Yeah. Alright. It's all blacked out on the real car. It's pretty hard to tell. I am not going to take this off the display stand, of course, because it's got some sensitive parts sticking all out about. So we're just going to leave it on the plinth or the base here. Alright, boy, it is black, so it's kind of hard. Let me move the camera in so we get better light. So yeah, I mean, the wheels, they look pretty nice. There's obviously air passing between the spokes. Now, I don't know if there's supposed to be brakes in these wheels or not. I just don't know about modern F1 cars or the latest F1 cars, if there actually are brakes in these wheels, or if maybe they're inboard brakes or something in the body. I'm trying to look at those photographs and I can't tell. I would have to guess there are supposed to be brakes in the wheels, like maybe carbon ceramic brakes, but obviously this model skipped that. You know, you can clearly see it's just the wheel itself with no brake system behind it. So that is unfortunate if that is the case. You know, because, I mean, the gaps are so big, it would have been nice to have like a brake rotor back there. But look at these tires. They're very nice. I mean, the printing on them it looks perfect. You know, very unlike a green light, they're actually concentric with the wheels. They're not off to one side of the tire. So, and then the tires themselves, I mean, they have really great curvature to them. They look like F1 tires to me. Looking at those photos, how much curvature there is there. So that's really cool. Okay. So, well, there's one more photo I guess I gotta show you here. I guess these modern F1 wings here, the front wings, they're like these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-step surfaces. Almost like a staircase or a terrace to like rice paddy or something, you know, paddy fields. And so that's how they look nowadays. This is all new to me. I haven't followed F1 in years. The last time I followed F1 was like when Sebastian Vettel won. I forget when that was, but I think he's ranking pretty far down in the drivers' rankings there for 2020. Alright, so anyways, you saw that, yeah, this model here does have the step things. There's obviously no air passing between. And then there's supposed to be air here, I guess. But there is an undercut, so that's good. And then these graphics must be decals. Or not. Yeah. Here there's an air brake here. You can see this groove in the casting, and then the decals covering it. The front wing, I don't see any sort of the wrinkliness, so, but maybe the entire front wing is covered in a decal. It's hard to say. Oh, no, it looks like there's an air gap right here in that U I'm touching, so yeah, there are decals going on this. So you really don't want to fondle this type of model with your bare hands, because the moisture in your fingers might lift off a decal. Alright, so you can see little metal antenna here and some sort of metal thing here. I don't know, please leave a comment if you know what this is. I'm gonna guess it's like an airspeed sensor like you see on airplanes, but I really don't know. But all I know is in this model it's a pretty funky bent piece of metal, you know. There's actually three supports. I thought for a minute the middle one was the antenna, but no, there's actually 3 legs holding this onto the body, and then this horizontal thing sticking out. And then you got this one here behind it. So that's pretty crazy. You know, sorry, with the base here, it's just getting in the way. I gotta find a different angle so I can look at this better. Okay, well, boy, I don't even know how to describe a lot of these parts. But you can see the suspension arms here. I'm gonna guess these are actually made of metal because they're so square. Same with here. So I think this is all like a photo etched metal suspension system. And then there actually is a shaft here. I don't know if that's realistic to the real car. I can't see it in the photographs. I don't think there's supposed to be a shaft there. I'm going to guess that shaft is holding the wheels on. It's not bad though. It doesn't bother me so much because at least it's black. These I'm assuming are the mirrors. Yeah, they are. There's some silver paint there. Would have been nice if they were foil stickers, but silver paint's better than nothing. And then the cockpit. It looks like there's a steering wheel down there. I'm gonna have to get the flashlight, it's so dark down there. So brighter. Yeah, there's just a steering wheel, but I don't see any indication of a seat. Sorry if it's a little blurry, but I have to check it out first here. Well, there's nothing to see there, so there's no seat from what I can tell. It's just a cavity with a tiny steering wheel, which I think you can see. Okay. So you got these funky, are these barge boards here? These side things? You got this air passing underneath it. You got all these panel cuts looking nice, but again, the decal is crossing that panel cut gap. It seems like there's a diffuser underneath this belly. The Redbull decal is wrapping back behind that tire. I like how they got this wing to go through this Redbull decal. So I don't know how they did that. I don't know if this decal literally had a hole in it and they put the decal around this object here, this little winglet. But it's very well done. Like, I don't think I could do that without ruining the decal myself. Okay, so I'm gonna guess this snorkel here leads to the engine, and then you can see the pick, it goes in quite a ways before it bottoms out. It is touching a surface right there, but obviously there's a good amount of depth there. And then you got this pod up here, which I'm gonna guess is for like television or radio or something. Talk back to the team. Let's see about this side here. It's not symmetric, you know, this pod. And then this thing. I don't even know what these things are called. So please leave a comment. But on modern F1 cars, there's like a central post and then these things wrapping around. Probably to keep the head from getting whiplash. But doesn't it seem odd that you would have this thing just right in the middle of your field of vision? Yeah, it seems odd, but obviously they do it. Okay. So I guess maybe the body is symmetric here. Going to the top view. Some ribbing there. Alright, leading to this vertical wing here with the number 33. And then you can see the drive shaft there. And you don't have the crazy front suspension arms like up on the front. It's just one solid plate here below the axle. Just looking back to that photograph, I don't know if that's accurate or not. It's hard to say. I kind of feel like it should have upper suspension arms, but they don't have it on this model. Granted, it's a cartoon car, you gotta remember. So sacrifices must be made to shrink it all down, and or just to fit the budget. Now, so this rear wing is pretty crazy. I mean, we got some grooves here, the decal work. There's also a photo etched piece of metal right in the middle. Right here. It's so thin, that's a piece of metal. And it's actually connected, I think, to this wing here with the wings of the Aston Martin logo. I'm gonna guess that's used to adjust the angle of that wing on the real car. Okay. Boy, there's just so much to look at on this thing. Alright, so this rear here. Well, you got little diffuser strakes. You got this cluster of LEDs. And then the exhaust tip. Look at this. This is perfect. I think this must be metal. Yeah, I think this is an aluminum tube. Because it's perfectly straight. It's completely hollow. So, and it's very shiny. Yeah, that's a metal tube, so that's pretty cool. Can't get more realistic than that, right? And I like to see that they actually got the sponsorship here on the bottom of both wings. So that's pretty cool. I do feel, you know, this wing's a little thick, I guess, maybe. I feel like they could have maybe made this thing out of metal, right? And then it would be a little bit more like the real car. Alright. Well, we gotta say, here's a top view. There's just a lot of stuff going on here. It's got some little side pods here as well. I forget, I don't know what those are for. You know, what are they doing? I don't think they're for downforce, or are they? Oh, maybe they trip up the disruptors or something to clean up the air that hits the radiators in these side pods. Well, alright, so that's it for this. Okay. Well, hopefully I've moved it around enough for you guys to pause it and decide if you think you're into this kind of thing. I think this thing looks awesome. It is so goofy looking that but yet so detailed. You know, I really respect model making, because I have made models and it takes forever to make even a mediocre effort. I'm just wondering if I could actually make this myself. I suppose I could, but it would probably take 15 hours at least. And I would have to have 3 sets of decals, because I'd screw those up for sure. To do it all in one shot, it's improbable that I could do this in one try. Alright, let's compare it to a couple other models here. So, the first logical one would be a 1/64 scale Redbull racing car. And I do have one from Kyosho, but it's an old RB5. But at least the livery's kind of the same, right? Which it should be, because it's Redbull racing. So, there we go. So, I mean, just looking at the tire size, if I had to guess, the scale of this thing would be like somewhere in the 150 range. 155 scale, maybe? Yeah, just maybe 150 scale. I mean, that's a huge tire. If you took this tire and put it on a real scale model, I'm gonna guess it might be in the 50s range, but it's obviously quite huge. So, just to compare, here's another large-scale cartoonish car. It's an RWB Porsche, and it's by this Ewan Car Furuya company. And so, it's closer here. Yeah, it's still quite huge compared to that. Alright. Let's get this out of here. And we'll compare it to the standard, which to me is choro-q. So here's a choro-q LMP car, an Audi R8. Here's a Nissan R390 GT1, and then the infamous Mazda 787. So for me, choro-q is the standard for tuned vehicles, because they started 40 years ago as a company making these little tuned cars. And so this F1 car is just huge again. I'm going to have to assume, possibly, it might have to do with the ease of manufacture. You know, the bigger a model is, the easier it is to get all the details in there. But at the same time, I kind of feel like they could have made it a lot smaller and still made the thing, because the true 64 scale resin models have all the details, right? So alright, well, call me crazy for buying this thing, but I love it. I have no regrets at all. I know that this casting came in 2 other liveries, but those liveries don't match the physical appearance, because, you know, this model was based off this Redbull racing shape. So they're just sticking on other liveries onto this shape, but they don't actually match the real cars. But you know, being a cartoon car, maybe that's you can accept that. What I do know is there is a different casting, and that has, again, 3 liveries. So I'm gonna get that in and you know, compare it to this later. So yeah, okay. Well, anyways, I'm hoping this mini racing brand sticks around, and just keeps out cranking, you know, other F1 cars of different casting, actual different shapes, and I'll get them. You know, there's a time where I used to want everything to be 1/64 scale, but that time is long gone now. Now I'm just about getting small models that look cool, you know, so obviously if I'm collecting choro-qs, you already know that. Alright guys, well, thanks for watching a long video, but this is a pretty expensive one, so that's why I like to just look at it in awe, and I gotta say, this thing is pretty awesome. Alright, I will catch you the next time whenever I get one of these F1 cars in. Thanks, see ya.